Sorry. I'm just playing I was playing my cooking game. I have to beat my level.
Gotta get my daily login.
Yeah, my cooking game. Is it recording now?
Huh? I mean, it's recording, but I could cut it to start whenever.
No, you should have it start from where I'm like playing my cooking game. Right, where you're playing
your cooking game?
I play cooking games.
Alright, you don't have to yell.
I'm not.
I'm not.
I feel like I don't know what to say. I don't know.
This is a weird angle. Hi, Zoe.
Sorry, I feel like I shouldn't like slurp into the microphone.
ASMR. So, Zoe, what are we doing here?
Don't extend your leg like that.
Hey, Zoe.
Hey, buddy. Oh, sometimes no free feet pics. Hey.
Censored.
Just put the censored logo over my foot.
I'll just blur out your whole leg.
It's just this whole part.
I'll just add in like my dog's leg over it.
You could do like a chicken leg. Anyways. Do you think it's bad to vape on a podcast?
I'm sure it happens.
Anyways.
It's not like anything we say is kid friendly. So, you know.
Fair. Well, you had topics of conversation that you wanted to go over.
Yeah, which one do you want to start with?
Grimace. I want to hear your whole like fucking spiel of it.
So stupid McDonald's had a whole
He's very angry about all of this.
campaign about one of their, I don't even know how to describe Grimace. It's
like a purple monster. I think it's like one of the original McDonald's characters that they used to do. He's like this
looking character.
I'm gonna pull up a picture
that looks like him. Barney, but like belted.
Let me find Grimace.
Probably add in a pic of Grimace. But,
oops, I typed Grimace.
Grimace. Merry Grimace. You
can't see, but that's Grimace.
I
want to see if oh, look at that.
I've seen that a lot.
I'm going to start sending you pictures.
I saw a picture of that. It was like...
What was Grimace for McDonald's?
Someone made a tweet of like... I swiped up on the story, or no, Grimace sent me a DM of a dick pic, and it was like that picture, and just like purple fur.
So what was Grimace for McDonald's? A TikTok trend of people trying Grimace's berry-flavored purple milkshake and then pretending to die has finally gotten the McDonald's monster to respond to the absurdist fad. It is in a tweet from McDonald's official account, Grimace, the popular creature for McDonald's. Oh no, it's McDonald Land. Even playfully acknowledged the viral trend. So, people say that he's not exactly known what he's supposed to be, but it says, an enormous taste bud, but a taste bud nonetheless.
Grimace is a taste bud?
Yeah.
What are you all about this McDonald's lore?
Why is Grimace a milkshake?
Anyway, they fucking had a whole like 2-3 week long campaign about it's Grimace's birthday. So let's have like a special menu, and one of which was a purple shake.
I'm looking up the characters.
And it looked atrocious. But, like, then the whole trend of, like, yeah, people drinking it and then acting like they're dying. Or, like, it's a zombie apocalypse. Anyway, it's tainted my whole Instagram feed. Because every third reel is just another, like, hey, got my Grimace shake.
He's, like, actually mad about it. Like, the amount of texts I've received. I'm sick of this Grimace shit.
It's so annoying.
I just looked up the McDonald's characters because I was curious. There's Officer Big Mac. Birdie the Early Bird.
I know the Hamburglar.
That's not even on here. Mac Tonight. I don't know what that is.
For like the
Grimace. Goblin.
Goblin.
Who? Let's see. The Hamburglar. That's one of them. Yeah. The French fry goblins. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
The Hamburglar is halfway normal.
I just look. It says, "Why did McDonald's get rid of Hamburglar?"
A big purple thing.
Looking to the future and to older customers meant a clean break with the way they'd done things in the past, such as utilizing a lineup of creatures and characters to sell its food. In other words, McDonald's began downplaying its McDonald Land characters, particularly the Hamburglar. But they made Grimace, like, huge recently. Well, TikTok did that, I guess, but...
It's always TikTok.
I love that it's... Hi. I guess you can't see that.
I hate TikTok.
Christian believes that they sell people's souls. Hey, don't put your head up her butt.
Out of context. My 2 dogs.
There's Jax and Diablo, and Diablo is putting... Wait. Jax was putting his head up her butt.
Yeah, you got it.
This is gonna... Oh, I probably shouldn't say that. Never mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, this is gonna sound bad, but you can't see what I'm doing, so it's, like, not hurting.
It looks like you're stroking off screen.
But sometimes my dogs... I have bulldogs, so they have really fat necks, so I put my hand on their neck. It's, like, one of my favorite things to do.
It's funny because their neck is so fat that your whole, like, hand doesn't even get halfway through.
It's mainly Stella. Bentley would be fine, but... Sorry.
Bless you.
Why are you timing it?
Well, you know, just to keep track of time. Because I can't see that far of the actual timer. Anyway, yeah, my shit is tainted with just Grimace videos.
It's actually pretty funny how many videos he has.
And then our friend Lindsay is obsessed with it.
She is?
Well, probably more so just obsessed with a meme. I hope she's never tried it.
I actually almost went and bought.
Just for shits and gigs?
Just for this. Because I knew you wanted to talk about it. I thought about it.
You might have died.
I should DoorDash them right now.
No, please. I don't want them to have my address. So I found a story about this on Reddit earlier.
Oh no, we're going to be
reading
Reddit's... Can I read it?
Sure.
So what is it about Grimace?
Yeah, it's about the Grimace shake. This purple monstrosity drink.
Sorry. So
go ahead.
It says, technically, I had the shake yesterday, but today is when I'm feeling the aftermath. I'm not even trying to follow the meme or be funny, unfortunately for me. So I went to McDonald's yesterday and decided I'd try the shake from the 10-piece nuggets meal before they get rid of it. Bad decision. Got home, had my food. Shake tasted pretty good, by the way, and took a nap. I got up and was feeling pretty awful, but thought it was just an upset stomach from sleeping right after eating and that it would pass. Wrong.
Wrong.
Like that it's like period, wrong, pass. Or no. I'm having a little
That's alright, I can't read either.
Anyways, it literally goes, it would pass, period, wrong, period. I ended up dealing with that pain for an hour or so before deciding it was becoming an emergency and that I needed to, in all caps, sprint to the bathroom around 1:30 in the morning. I'll spare you the details, but let me just say, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Then around 4 a.m., it happened all over again. I should also mention that my cat had licked a small amount of the shake when I wasn't looking, and he was also feeling the same thing I was. Tired from my own suffering as well as wiping my cat's ass all night, I got up and had to go to work around 7 a.m. I still felt pretty bad, but I thought, I doubt there will be a third time. It's already happened twice. I'll be okay. I'm probably just tired. Period. Wrong again. Period. I'd been sitting at my desk for the past few hours. My stomach was hurting more and more and was being very noisy. I sat there contemplating whether or not I should tell my boss I need to go home. I regret to say I waited too long. While working, I felt something leak out of me. Panicked, I ran to the bathroom. Oh yeah, exactly what you think happened. To make it better or worse, I've only been here working here for less than a month, and now I've shit myself at work.
The end of it that's cut off just says "Happy Birthday, Grimace."
Happy birthday, Grimace.
Yeah, so
Very angry about it. I think it's fucking funny,
I
but
think it's so dumb.
I just think the different takes on it is funny. But mine didn't really start getting like overtaken by it. I've just seen a few here and there, but it's starting to get to that point.
Mine's overtaken.
Anyways, you have anything else to say about Grimace?
He looks dumb.
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
Happy birthday, Grimace.
Grimace's birthday was like 2 weeks ago.
Well, happy late birthday.
So, Zoe, tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? What's your childhood trauma like?
No, we can't get into that on here. I'm a hairstylist.
For our audio listeners, she's playing with her hair. Thanks for that haircut earlier, by the way.
Yeah, you see that? I had to make Christian look nice for the podcast.
It was more so, it was just hot where we are, and I'm like, I can't
He
handle.
threatened my life if I didn't give him a haircut today.
I don't think that's how that worked.
He said, I'm gonna freaking kill you.
I said, I'm gonna buy you a flight to Vegas if you don't cut my hair.
Okay. That's not at all how that went.
I texted like 3 other people. I said, I just realized how cheap Vegas flights are after the summer. And they're like, we should go.
Who?
I'm not telling you. I'm not going to DOS them. I'm not going to give out people's information.
Give me like code names.
Code names.
Okay, just say like.
Like Erica was like, yeah, let's do it.
You just said her name.
Well, people don't know who she is yet.
Okay, obviously. So who
I'm not giving out
else?
her social security number.
You also like listed 3 of your friends already. You said Lindsay. I said Caitlin. Now Erica.
That's true. That's true. How do you feel about all the submarine shit happening?
I have a lot. I feel like I'm yelling into this. I have a lot to say about the submarine shit. If I'm being honest.
Go ahead. You probably kept up with it more than I have.
Oh, I did. I was like watching all the live updates, checked back in every single day.
You're like looking at pictures, satellite images of the ocean, like where could they be?
I'm like on my computer at night. This is the reason why I'm up. It's not cooking games. I'm like trying to find it.
It's one of the two. It's either Cooking Mama or Apple Maps.
You go into like the screen in the iPhone where it tells you like the analytics of your screen time, and it's just like Cooking Mama, Apple Maps.
Both are like 10 hours apiece.
I feel like I don't know. I think they were freaking stupid for doing what they did. I'm sorry, but how are you gonna have that much money and be a millionaire and go and get on a submarine?
$250,000 on like a 20-minute, or it was only like, I don't know.
They
a
were
couple
down
hours.
there for like less than an hour when they imploded, and like they spent like what $250,000 to go on a person to go on a submarine to see the Titanic. And first of all, when they signed the waiver, it said death in it like 3 times. They fired a guy from the company because he said this is not safe, like you shouldn't be doing this.
Weird how that works.
And the guy in the interview not only got half of the shit for the submarine from Camping World, but he also was controlling it with a Game Boy controller.
It looks like one of those like really janky controllers you'd buy from Dollar Tree.
This is awful because I've been trying not to be that person that like laughs at all the memes of it, but I found
some pretty funny.
I found one that I think will make you laugh. Let me see if I can find it. Cuz I found it. Hold on.
What dunderhead would want to talk to a bunch of stupid fish? I want to talk to fish. I want to talk to fish.
All right.
That's basically Jimmy Neutron, Carl, I don't know if it picked it up, but it was like, me, what dunderhead would want to talk to fish? And then it goes to Carl, and it's like 5 billionaires. I want to talk to fish. I want to talk to fish. Anyways, I just think that, like, obviously, I feel for the families because that's awful.
What about the one kid that was like at a Blink-182 concert?
Oh my god, one of the millionaire stepsons, it wasn't even his son, it was his stepson, I think, went to a Blink-182 concert and was like posting things all over like Twitter and Instagram saying like, well, I can't do anything about it, like I can't go down there and find him, so why wouldn't I live my life? This is what he would want, like I don't have any money, and was like,
I don't have any money.
Literally at a Blink-182 concert posting, and then in the front row made a poster for his stepdad and was like, pray for my family
as he's at a concert.
Which I think is like that was cherry on top of the cake for me. That but was
pretty good.
I don't know.
It says a lot for our society.
I like am fascinated with the Titanic anyways. I love, you know, the movie that was made, but I also did research on the guy that made the movie. So the reason he was like fascinated with the Titanic and wanted to make a movie on it. So he did, obviously. But in doing so, he literally went down and saw the Titanic. I can't remember how many times, but he went down there. That guy
is like the record for lowest depth in the ocean anyone's ever gone.
Yeah, he went and saw the Titanic, which is on the bottom of the ocean floor, which is like, I don't know the exact measurements, but he went down there a lot of times to go see it. And one of the times he was actually down there doing his research on the Titanic was when 9/11 happened. Nice. Which ironically is my birthday. He went down there, and so he came back up and everybody was like freaking out, and he was like, what happened? He didn't even know what was happening up above, because when you go down there, it takes at least 8 or 9 hours to get to that depth. And you have to get through, you know, the part where it's unsafe, which is basically where they imploded, because it's the pressure. You can't withstand the pressure. Anyways, but yeah, that guy has like taken people on trips, like an actual submarine, but the Titan, the one that imploded, they're calling it a submersible.
Yeah, they didn't say submarine, which I'm like, that's odd.
They're calling it a submersible. But like the thing that really gets me is, you paid $250,000 to get on a submarine that is controlled by a Game Boy controller. The man actually said that he got stuff from Camping World to build it. You can't get out from the inside. They only supplied you with 96 hours of oxygen, and you guys were planning on being down there for, I think they said, like 8 days.
Yeah, but they had a toilet, so.
God forbid they didn't have a toilet.
That's so shitting on a submarine.
And like, I feel the only person I genuinely feel bad for on the submarine was that 19-year-old kid that went, because he didn't want to go and his dad forced him. But it's like all billionaires, including the guy that built the submarine. But it's like, I'm sorry, if I'm reading a waiver, and I don't read waivers very often, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes people are like, sign this waiver, when it's like stuff that could, you know, potentially kill me, and I'm like, okay, sure, don't read it all the way through. But if you're taking me down into the ocean to see the
terms and conditions are probably not that long for that.
I feel like this is what I imagine.
You probably put as much effort into the terms and conditions that you did into building the thing.
I just imagine the waiver looking like a piece of paper with like 10 words. You could possibly die. Death is possible.
Sign here.
Sign here. Date, name.
Collect money now.
$250,000.
Venmo me $250,000.
I want to see if I can actually find because that's one thing I haven't looked up yet. But I want to see if I can find it. What would I say?
Like what the
waiver Titan sub
marine sandwich.
Marine.
It's pretty. I'm not gonna be like that person and be like, yeah, you kind of had it coming, but also like
they had it coming.
If you see all the videos of like before they took off of the guys showing off the submarine, it looked like the most janky like I put together in my garage type thing.
Made it from Camping world.
Like he probably got a actual decent what would you call it, like a cylinder of whatever metal, aluminum or steel or whatever it was. Like that was probably like the only halfway decent part of it, but
I guess the accident, they're calling it an accident, is still under investigation. I've been on like some theorist TikTok pages of where people think that they did this on purpose, but I just think if I had 250 grand, I would do some things. I would buy a house. I would pay off my car.
Sometimes you see some dumb shit and you go, that makes sense. And this is one of them.
What do you mean?
Of like just people going to this jank ass looking submarine and they all dying from it.
Well, there was how many? There was 5 millionaires?
Apparently that was like the 4th run or something.
250,000 times 5.
That's a mil.
That's a million.
Quarter.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
$1,250,000.
I failed every single math class in school.
Didn't you call me one time to like ask how to tip or like what the percentage was, or it was something like
how to do the percentage. I want to say something.
Go ahead. Hot take.
Sexism. You want to find sexism? Go talk to my boss.
What if he listens to this?
That's why I'm like, didn't know if I should say it or not.
Yeah, it's hard to be like, what should I say? What should I not?
Doctors.
Oh, yeah, that was another...
Or kind of sexist.
Another subject of...
They make me so mad. Okay, so doctors make me insanely mad. So, just the fact that they have all this power... And 90% of the time when you hear from people, they tell you like, oh, my doctor didn't believe me that my kid was this. And then I found out that, they had cancer when I went to somebody else, or, like just different medical procedures. So I had a friend go and get her IUD done about a year ago. And anything that has to do down there is a very uncomfortable experience. So like pap smears, uncomfortable. They're weird. It's like you're just exposed. And, like, I don't know, like, from what I've heard with guys, it's basically, like, when you get checked down there, they cup,
mm-hmm.
and then it's cough.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, not as invasive. Pap smear, like, you're fully exposed, and you have a thing that goes in, and they have to swab you and do all that. So she went and got her IUD done, and from what she had heard from different people, it was, like, super mixed, like... oh, yeah, no, it hurts really bad. And then other people will be like, no, I didn't feel anything at all. Like I have a high pain tolerance. And she does have a high pain tolerance. So she was like, oh, it should be fine. So she went with her friend because she didn't want to go alone because she was a little scared after getting her pap smear because it was just very invasive. So she gets there. First of all, I did research on what it is, how it goes about being inserted. They put the speculum in to open you up, and then... they have this thing, I think it's called a teneculum. It's like little pinchers, like tweezers, but they're curved at the end, and they're long. They basically take that and stick them into your cervix. And they tell you, like, oh, you're going to feel a little bit of cramping. From the way it was described, it was the worst pain imaginable. And, like, if people listen to this and, it gets a ton of traction, like, most women will know what it feels like. So this girl, my friend, was just in complete pain, like nothing she had ever experienced. And she was crying on the table because it was hurting her, obviously. And so she finishes, she ends up fainting.
No shit.
This is last year. She ends up fainting. And thankfully her friend was there. So they ended up like having her lay down on this chair and sit upside down and gave her some juice and gave her a shot.
Upside down?
Like on the table, they had her legs up to elevate it to get the blood flow back to the head.
Not like
where you're hanging off the like monkey bars. Like your legs are up in the air basically.
Okay.
And so she, everything's fine and dandy. She told me the few weeks following were awful because she kept getting cramps, which they said was normal. but it was like unbearable. Like she was considering getting it taken out, like how bad it was. So she goes back in a year later because her pap smear, like she needed to get it redone or something was going on down there. She had to go get checked out. They tell her that her IUD was actually coming out. And so she was like, oh, great. Okay. You know, like I'll go and get it replaced. Like, so she schedules it for like a few weeks out. So this is like now, like in time now, about a week ago, I think. She goes and gets it done. And she brings her boyfriend with her. And she's like thinking, you know, hey, they let my friend in. Friend was a female last year. Like, it should be fine. This is my boyfriend, you know, like somebody that knows me and knows.
Just a comfort person.
A comfort person. And it's not like he's going to be behind the doctors watching them do the procedure. And even if he was, it wouldn't be that weird considering he's her boyfriend. Anyways. So she gets up and she like says to him like, okay, let's go in. And the nurse is immediately like, this nurse is like, from what she described, she was just chaotic and just like super high energy. Not somebody you want to have when you're already entering an uncomfortable situation. Mm-hmm. So she's like, oh, like he can't come in there. And immediately she was like, I wanted to start crying when this happened. And so she goes in the room and the nurse is like, are you okay? And she's like, no, like I just have a lot of anxiety. You know, I had a really bad experience getting it last year. I fainted. It was really bad. It hurt really bad. This is why I brought him. Like I had my friend last year when I got it done for the first time. And the nurse was like, well, we don't normally let men in here, you know, during this procedure. She also told me that when she first got it done, the doctor had asked if she was comfortable having a medical student, not even a doctor, not like, what are they called? Like, a resident, not like a resident, anything like where they haven't even, like just in school that was doing volunteer work at this doctor's office. She asked if like my friend would be comfortable having the med student in there during the procedure. And so my friend was like, okay, well, is it a guy or a girl? And the doctor said, it's a guy. And she's like, no, obviously not. I don't want some rando, not even a doctor. Like she had
some kid,
some random kid. And like, you know, I get that he's trying to learn the procedure and like,
but not at my expense.
Yeah. Not at my friend's expense. Like that's no. So fast forward, they tell her, you know, you can't have your boyfriend in here. And she immediately just like is trying not to cry. And like she said, her tears were like welling up with her tears. Her eyes were welling up with tears. And she just was so uncomfortable. The fact that they were denying him a comfort person. And she was like actually kind of talking to us about it and was like, you know, I just don't understand. Like I like texting in real time, like they won't let him in here. Like I'm already having anxiety. This was so painful the first time around. Like she can't do it if he's not there. And Christian made a point, like, I don't think they can legally tell you no to that because he is requested by her.
Yeah.
So they end up, the way that she said it, she said the doctor goes, so that's your boyfriend? And she said yes. And the doctor was like, well, are you going to be okay without him? And she was like, I was clearly upset and uncomfortable. And I said, if I have to, I will. And the doctor said to her, like, okay, well, I can obviously tell that you're not comfortable and I need you to be comfortable for this procedure. She said that the doctor looked mad almost. So if you're not going to be comfortable with the procedure, then I guess he can come in here. That was like basically what she had said that the doctor said. So they let him in and it was just awful. Like she said that it hurt way more than the first time she had ever done it. It was the worst pain imaginable. She got out of there. They, saw her, like she said the doctor saw her afterwards, like hysterically crying because of how much pain she was in, was like not giving her any sense of like calmness. Like the doctor seemed annoyed with her. And so she was telling me how she's in the waiting room and she had to sit down because of how much pain she was in. And the doctor just sees her kneeling down. And she's like, are you okay? And she's like, no, like, I feel like I'm going to throw up or I'm going to pass out. Like, I don't feel good. I feel lightheaded. I don't feel okay. So the doctor was like, okay, we'll sit in this chair. Sits her in the chair and then walks away. Doctor is nowhere to be seen at this point. And she's like, her boyfriend doesn't know what to do because he's already traumatized from seeing the tools that were used on her, and then watching his girlfriend get faint and lightheaded and
all kinds of
just not okay. And like, he didn't even, like, when you see somebody that you love in that much pain, obviously your response is going to be like, oh, like, what the hell are you doing to my partner? And so he's uncomfortable because of it. She's in pain and she's just hysterical. And the doctor just leaves. And so they get her a cup of water. And meanwhile, all this is happening. None of the nurses, I guess, like, stopped to, like, really check on her. They gave her, like, a little heating pack.
Lovely.
But the nurse was still trying to schedule her follow-up appointment for 6 weeks from now. And in her head, she's, like, telling me, she's like, I'm just thinking this entire time, like, what the hell? Like, I'm sitting here hunched over in pain, ready to pass out. My boyfriend has no idea what's going on. You're trying to reschedule a check-in.
They said you like that tip meme, like, hey, just a quick question for you.
Oh my god, like, literally. So, like, this, you know, my poor friend is just, like, mortified by the way that she was treated this entire experience. And it's like, you're already uncomfortable enough as it is being that exposed in a place where it's like, you know, uncomfortable already. You have tools inside of you. Like, I can't even imagine what it would be like. Like, that sounds like hell on earth. And after watching the procedure, like, how it's done, I'm like, oh, absolutely not. Like, if you haven't seen it, then go watch a procedure on how an IUD is inserted, because that's, like, it's barbaric to me, in my opinion, the fact that they don't do, like, a local anesthetic for women. And just, like, the way that doctors abuse their power with things. Like, I've heard horror stories of, like, women saying, oh, you know, after I had my C-section or my baby, I requested that I get my tubes tied. Because, you know, you're already in there, you might as well. And the doctor says, well, I want to make sure that it's okay with your husband. Like, no, I'm a full-grown woman. I'm carrying this baby. I'm the one that had to put my body through hell on earth for 9 months. Not that having a baby is hell on earth, but I wouldn't know. But, like, when you're pregnant, you go through morning sickness or sickness through anything.
Not a fun time.
It's not fun. I'm like, some people are very lucky. Like, my sister got a very lucky pregnancy, but she had a really hard delivery. And so it's like, the fact that doctors have this power to say, like, well, is your husband okay with it? It's like, no, fuck my husband. Sorry, Mom, if you watch this. like, no, screw that. You know, it's my body. Not to be like that whole my body, my choice, but it's true. It's like, they shouldn't abuse their power and say something like that. I have a lot I could say on this, but I feel like it's just going to be the entire rest of the podcast.
It's funny because when my mom went to go get her tubes tied, she's like, they're like, yeah, we can't do that. She's like, why? I was like, yeah, you're pregnant. While she was also on the pill with me.
So you were an accident?
As Bob Ross says, all our kids were accidents. Are you kidding me? She's like, I don't want kids. And then pops out too.
And then adopts a third.
She was on like 2 different birth controls when she had me.
2?
Yeah.
What? How? That's not
but
okay. Birth control, like, fucks with your body. Sorry, Mom. I need to stop this. I feel like my mom's gonna watch this and be like, oh! Birth control screws you up. Like, I've done the research on it, you know. I've heard the horror stories of how it, like, can kind of balance you, but then, like, the weight gain that you can get from it, or...
That's why I hear the most of, like, it helps with some things, but also, like, huge side effects.
It's like, you may not bleed for years on years, but you're gonna get fat. Like, okay. Like, I've heard a lot of girls get their birth control taken out and go through extreme side effects of, like, trying to wean off of it and then just, like, dropping an immense amount of weight.
I don't know if it's correlated, but my mom brought up a good point of, like, when both my sisters got, like, that thing in your arm, the whatever.
I don't know what that one's IUD, called, but yeah.
Like, both of them were just, like, psychotically mean for, like, no reason. Especially, like, to each other. Like, they were just at our throats. Or, like, when we went on a family trip, like, my eldest was just, like, so just like a dick for no reason. And then she was like thinking about it. I don't know, a couple months. She was like, I think it was that like birth control in my arm that was just messing with me mentally.
Yeah, I mean, birth control, it's literally, depending on what you get, the IUD has two different types. It has the Mirena or the copper one. The copper one is no hormones. The Mirena has hormones. So a lot of women that experience like irregular periods will get that to kind of balance it out. So it either gives you a period and it's like normal, steady, not as painful as it should be, like a normal period, or it gives you nothing. So, but the arm one has like hormones in it, I'm pretty sure. But excuse me, I was talking about the IUD insertion the other day with like a coworker because I was telling her about my friend's horror story, and my other coworker was like, "Oh, the arm one hurts a lot more," and like, no shade, but no, like I've seen somebody get their arm IUD taken out. They make like an incision like this big, and they pop it out. And when it's inserted, it's like a tiny, it's like a needle.
Plus, they probably like treat you right with some kind of painkiller
Yeah,
type thing,
they give you like a numbing agent or like a something,
morphine or some shit.
something very, low key, but it's like a needle that they stick in you and pop it in,
Okay.
and it takes 20 minutes. Whereas the IUD process takes at least 45 to an hour, depending on how, I guess, open
Yeah.
your cervix can get.
Yeah.
But when I heard that, I was like, what? I'm like, I don't even have all that, but like, what? And so it just like made me mad. And so my other coworker was like, I've had both, and the IUD is way worse. Like, that's
Did she say that or
my coworker.
said the IUD was worse?
Yeah, Megan
Yeah.
was the one that said the arm is worse.
Oh, gotcha.
And my other coworker was like, "Oh no, like I've had both. Like
Oh,
the IUD is actually worse."
gotcha. I had this friend who kept having problems with her IUD, not knowing it was her IUD, and like she was already not having a very good time in life, just like shit happening like once after the other. And she like comes out and like her form of like contact was just like a group chat with like a bunch of us in it. And she's just like, I went to she's like screaming, crying. She's like, I went to the doctors and they told me like they can't see the IUD, like it's missing, not like missing, but like they
It
can't
like
see it. Or feel,
dislodged.
like, yeah, like it's in her cervix.
My God.
So she was like flipping out. But then like when she went in to go get it removed, it was like some woman doctor trying to remove it. And she's like, we got it. And she like pokes her head up like a ghost. She's like, got it. So good.
Oh my God. I've seen this. There's like, I see TikToks all the time of like people with IUD horror stories. I do a lot of research on like women's medical care because
Love
it
women.
makes me very angry that way that women are treated in the medical industry. Anyways, I saw this one TikTok that was like me thinking my IUD is like, keeping me from being a teen mom, and then it like it like jumps to a picture and it's a baby, and she's like, my baby holding my IUD. Literally the baby is grasping the IUD in the hand.
Okay.
Like, bro, hell no.
I was like, my baby cock blocking me.
Back to the baby, like you can see the little IUD in
So
the tiny
weird.
baby hand. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry to keep going on my phone, but I gotta find a picture for you.
Back to the conversation of like women kind of just like not being taken seriously of like any kind of problem. I mean, you know this one pretty well. Of, like, I have a medical problem, and like I've talked to half a dozen doctors, and like no one really. Oh, it's literally just like grasping at like the Statue of Liberty, holding the
Terrifying. Anyways, go on.
of like talked to like half a dozen doctors, and like each doctor, whoa, like they just said like, oh, it's all in your head. Like, oh, it's just like pain in your chest wall. I go, I don't think so. I don't think it's correlated, nor does that make sense. But yeah,
You would just think, like, with the way medicine has developed, like modern medicine, that and just the 21st century in general, people wouldn't still be treating women as if they're idiots.
well, it depends on the state with all of our legislature and whatnot.
God, well, that's a whole other. I'm not gonna get into all that.
That's on episode 2.
That's so.
That's a different
That's
can of black beans to open.
that. Do you want to tell your black beans?
I'll say that when I have her on the podcast.
Oh my God, that's.
It'll probably be next week.
Will I be there for that?
If you want.
Why not?
Yeah, I had to apologize our location on our first episode as we're having a heat wave here and it's like, I don't know, 109 outside and my AC decides to be like, nah, I don't want to work.
I'm also an idiot because he told me that earlier and I laughed at him.
Oh yeah, I called her, I'm like, hey, bad news, my AC off. She's like, I'm like, no, you don't understand, you're gonna be at my house later. So far
It's fine. I'm fine.
now upstairs though.
I almost came over in pants though, and before I found out that he was like getting his AC temporarily fixed, I was like, I didn't think this through. Like, I need to go home and change. But I had to drive out to Rio Linda. Ah, dang
Yeah,
it.
what was your grapes
Ah,
thing? Like what?
I meant to bring you one.
Why did you drive to Sacramento for a bag of grapes?
It's not. Let me show you. I have
They're green,
pictures.
aren't they? I have pictures.
No, it's not. Like, my mom thought I was just like buying
Like-
grapes too.
200 photos of grapes. On your camera roll. Every photo, every tab in your Safari
like-
is grapes.
Grapes or Grimace.
So weird. Okay, I'm just looking at grapes.
Just kidding, I'm kidding. No, it's this. I don't know if any like if people watch this, they like coat these grapes in like candy and they freeze the grapes.
You know, we could do that.
I
They
know.
look like chocolate, like
It's candy.
blue chocolate covered grapes.
Anyways, I cut one of my friend's hair and he sent me $30 because not you.
Oh,
Different
so
friend.
You're 23.
Yeah, anyways. But he sent me $30 like a week ago and I was like, I could put this in my bank account.
Or I could put this towards my grape fund.
Literally, because my order was like $20. So
You ordered 20 bucks.
it's like a
How mu-
big thing of it. And it came with pineapples too.
Okay.
I want to learn how to make it so I don't have to keep buying it, but
Is it just like some guy you know, or is it like a legit business?
it's like this girl's legit business. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she doesn't know who I am, so she probably won't ever find this. But
But if you want to sponsor us, let me know.
the house is it was kind of sketch.
Well, it's Rio Linda.
But the girl was really like, she's really sweet. I haven't met her yet because both times that I've went and picked up these grapes, she happened to not be there, so I had to get them from her grandma. But like, she has like a legit business. Like, she doesn't have a huge following yet, but she gets, I guess, yeah, kind of. She's got a good amount of traffic flow through her page. But I can't remember how I found her. I just like, I have seen these all over people's Instagrams and TikToks, and I'm like, man, those look so good. And then I found out this girl was just in Rio Linda, and so
It looks like grapes. Or, I mean, not grapes, just like circular type candy.
they're basically, it's like melted Jolly Ranchers, and she freezes the grapes and then she coats the grapes in the Jolly Rancher that's like melted, and then she refreezes it and she like sprinkles candy on it. It's candied grapes.
Interesting.
There's an actual Filipino dish. I think it's like, I don't know what it's called, but they do this with like
Not
strawberries.
Philippine.
Yes.
Okay. You talking about chocolate covered strawberries? I
No.
know those Filipino.
No, it's like so they take strawberries and they melt down sugar and they coat the strawberries or the fruit in like the sugar and they let it freeze.
That's so caramel.
It's like candy apples, but it's like strawberries. It's like I think it's a Filipino dish.
Intriguing.
There's like a certain name for it. I don't know.
We should just go to. I was gonna say we should just go to Filipino. Try it.
Christian's trying to get me to travel the world right now, and I actually can't.
Right now, I've been trying to get you to travel the world since you were like a little baby bean, a little baby grape in this world.
Oh, I want to give some backstory. Christian, a little
This
baby
is
grape.
weird. Yeah.
Christian we've known each other for 10 years.
Happy anniversary. Don't look at me. Anyway,
That's fucking rude.
yeah. How do we meet?
If just-
You give some backstory.
So we went to the same middle school, and I was in, right, it was middle school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was in this teacher. Her name is Mrs. O'Brien.
Should get her on the podcast.
A-
She's not doing it this
Angel
summer.
sent to Earth. We love Mrs. O'Brien. I was in her class. I was a 7th grader. He was an 8th grader.
She's like one of those teachers of like just the one that just sticks with you for like no reason, just
Mhm.
because like she was a cool person.
She's just very kind. She was a kind teacher, and she just had a sweet soul. Anyways, so Christian was in 8th grade, and he was gonna be a TA for us, and we met. I feel like I shouldn't share your.
No, I had a like a thing where I was supposed to be in like whatever 8th grade like physical education class, and then like I messed up my leg, so I was like out of commission. So plus other tragedies is what you're trying to refer to.
Yeah, I don't want to say it because I
I,
feel
I mean, whatever. It was a decade ago.
so.
A house fire,
Yeah,
so I was put out in more ways than one,
so he was disabled and lost his.
mentally and physically. That was mean.
Anyways, so before he came in to like TA for us, she told us, she was like, "We're getting a new TA. His name is Christian. He's
Midway
been
through the
having,
term.
yeah, like literally halfway through the term. He has some knee issues. He's going to be joining us. So if you see him, just be, super kind, say hi, introduce yourself. She explained what had happened, with your house and your knee. And I don't know what possessed me. I just was like, all right, like, screw it. Like, let's go say hi. So I ended up talking to Christian, and I don't know. We just ended up just being friends ever since.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't remember anything that was said,
Me,
but it kind of reminds me. So we used to be friends with this girl.
the same girl, the same glass.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we used to be friends with this girl. Her and I have the same birthday.
Also 9/11.
Yeah, her first day of school, I was actually out sick for like her first 2 days of school. I can't remember why, but I wasn't there. So Miss O'Brien was like my homeroom class technically. So I get into homeroom, and all of a sudden I'm not paying attention to the kids in my class. Like they're all kids that I've known since I was like,
A wee lad.
yeah, like a child. And all of a sudden I hear, "Hey Rose, hey Rose, how was your day today?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Who the F is Rose?"
Language.
And I look over, and it's just this like she was blonde. She's blonde,
Super small blonde gal.
super tiny blonde girl, just staring at me. Like I don't know if you can see my face. I'm like,
Like
she's like,
creepily.
imagine you're me, and this is Rose.
Sounds like a Barbie cartoon.
Literally just staring at me, and I remember getting freaked out by it because I was like, I was 7th grade, so I was middle school. I barely had any friends because I was awkward. And you just see this, and Rose was very pretty at 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
She's a very beautiful girl.
Very outgoing.
Very outgoing, bubbly personality, like the exact opposite of me. I was awkward. I was cute, but I wasn't like, I was middle school cute, where you're like, oh, you're just a little baby, but I wasn't
Not like
like,
middle schoolers now, which are
yeah, like
scary looking like 21-year-old.
they look like they were created in labs.
They look like they were created in the GQ factory.
I looked like I was created through Justice.
What?
The store, the old store Justice, and the Bobby Frank t-shirts. That's where I was created. I wasn't like Rose. Rose was cute for a 7th grader. She didn't look like she was in 7th grade. So then there's me, little awkward bean, just so weird. And I remember like seeing this girl staring at me, because remember I had missed the first 2 days of her being at that school. So I didn't think anything of it. Class ends. I'm like walking. I'm a loner because I had like very few friends. And all of a sudden I hear this girl come up to me and say, "Hey," and I turn around and I'm like, "Hi, it's Rose." The girl that was staring at me in class, and she's like, "Do you want to have lunch together?" And then we became inseparable for like years after that. Like she pretty much lived with me for a good amount of time, like throughout middle school. Like she became part of the family. Like whenever my dad would drop off lunch for me, he would bring lunch for Rose. She stayed at my house. Like she didn't have the best living experience growing up. So my mom kind of took her in, and Rose ended up moving away for high school. She went to Marysville with her parents. And so we stopped hanging out as much, obviously, because we were 15 and couldn't drive. So we would like FaceTime every day at lunch freshman year.
Okay.
Um, she was, yeah, I don't know where I was going with the rest of that.
Good one.
Thanks.
That's
But oh, yeah, that's it. That's all I have to
more
say.
of the stories we're not friends with her anymore. But me and Zoe made it through.
Hey. Yeah. Honestly, Christian and I have been through a lot of well, mainly me trying to.
Get rid of me.
No, I would just like bring in friends and I'd be like, meet my super cool best friend, Christian. We've known each other for 10 years. And then,
Well, it wasn't like that for a while.
yeah, we got close like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
we were still friends. We just kind of lost communication for a bit.
We weren't. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
We would talk like every now and then. We would hang out every now and then, but
But we weren't like super close.
it wasn't like what we are now.
Yeah.
And like,
What are we?
on a DTR? No. But I would like try and bring in like people that I would meet over the last couple years. And they would pretty much end up being jealous of my relationship with Christian.
It would go a few ways of like either like you bring in someone and they get jealous of me for whatever reason. I don't know why they would. And then it starts going downhill because they're like, trying to essentially steal Zoe away. Or it would go like, they're psychotic, and I'd be like, hey, Zoe, they're kind of, not good for you. And you're like, yeah, they're all right. And then they become psychotic, and you're like, yeah, it's time to cut it. Or some people are actually decent.
Yeah. And they've made it through, which is
They
like
made it through.
friend group now, basically.
Yeah.
They've passed the test.
So far, you never know.
Some of them are still trying to pass. I'm kidding.
Some of them are like, they're fine for a couple years, and then they really start showing their true colors. I'm not referring to anyone. I don't know why you're giving me that look.
Some of them make it
Right.
through and then they just screw you over. And
Jax doesn't like flies landing on him.
Jax, if I could scream every time a fly laid on me too, I would.
You would just constantly scream.
Ah!
You'd be screaming for the next 40 years.
I'm gonna move this away so that you don't hear me. God,
He's a little more dramatic about it, though.
he is giving me a look. Jax, come here. Come here, you big baby. Come here. Hi, big baby. Come on. I'm sorry, I don't want to put the chair down.
My expensive comfort. And then there's Diablo.
We love Diablo.
It's funny. I was saying this to my mom. I'm like, it's funny. Diablo being my oldest dog and like the family dog, and Jax being essentially my dog, but inseparable from my other. It's funny how like we now see Diablo as like the sweet innocent angel who could do no wrong. But like for the previous 8 years, she was a little hellion.
That's Bentley.
Yeah, Bentley's never really an angel.
None of my dogs are, actually.
Bentley's probably, well, no. See, I was gonna say Bentley's probably the most hellion, but he's the
No,
most chill, but he still does some
s-
rude shit.
Bentley is so petty. So there was one night I went to Arizona. Diablo.
Yeah, you're my shot.
You could just see her little ears.
I know, it's funny.
So I went to Arizona to visit family and I came home and I ended up leaving just for like a couple hours to go see one of my friends when I got home that night. I came home to piss all over my bed. My bed. I was in Arizona for 4 days. I hadn't slept in my bed in 4 days. And I came home and there was pee all over my
You
bed.
came home like your flight and you got home at night, right?
I got home at like 7 at night.
Yeah,
And
like
then I
ready to cack out, and then you get there and
well I
why are my sheets yellow?
I got home, I left for like maybe an hour to go get dinner with a friend, and then I got back and well, my comforter's yellow anyways, but I got home and I pull off my pillow and I start to lift up my comforter and I had seen on the very edge of the bed there was like a little wet spot, but I just thought like he drools a lot and he drinks water, so I thought it was just water. And I didn't think anything of it because it was like this big. It was small. And then I pull off my pillow and not even just like on my comforter, on my pillows. On my pillows.
Like, oh, you're gonna sleep here tonight?
He said, "Oh, you came home and left me
Just
again,
leg up.
bitch." He just
It's
pissed
funny.
all
I'll
over his
leave for
bed.
2 weeks and I'll come back, and my dog's like, "Oh, what's up?" Like,
Bentley is so petty. I don't know what it is about him, but he's so petty. But Stella's the most hellion of them all. She is
it's like most dogs have like that concept of like you leave for a minute and they think it's like a whole year.
literally.
Dogs have no concept of time, but unless it's breakfast or dinner time for this guy, he's on the dot 5 o'clock.
So is Norma.
Norma's chaotic.
Norma's psychotic, but she's actually the most cuddly out of all three of them.
They all look funny. I
They're
call Zoe's dogs, who are all English bulldogs. Yeah.
Stella and Norma are English, full bred English, and then Bentley is an English and French bulldog mix.
I call all of her dogs loaves of bread.
He calls them wheat loaf and white loaf.
Yeah, because two of them are mainly brown and one of them's mainly white. My sister's friend calls my dogs burnt croissants. So that makes you feel any better.
He calls them charcoal or like
I call them
coal.
bags of coal.
Bags of coal.
Like, you little bag of coal.
No, he calls them baby skillet too.
Oh, I call Diablo a baby skillet. I don't know why, but it's a good. Damn, you got hella notifications. It's
Really, I was just thinking how I haven't had anything new in like 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay.
Anyways,
Famous.
is there anything else you want to talk about?
Hmm. Not that I can think of. Oh, looping back to the conversation of doctors and medical stuff. I think in general it bugs the shit out of both of us and probably a lot of people, like people that aren't uh how do I say this without saying dumb? People that aren't people people that aren't very friendly to other people or just very stuck up probably shouldn't be in the medical field.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what
And
you're talking about.
that just don't handle like human interaction and act stuck up in the sense of like your friend's situation of like they want their comfort person in there and the doctor just like visibly or audibly like irritated by it. I'm like, what are you like? Why are you doing this if you're just gonna be a dick? Good times.
Yeah. I just don't get it. It's like you go to school for years and you work your butt off to get this. Is it a degree or license? Your medical
I
license?
think both. It depends which.
You're getting a degree and then you have to pass your boards and get your
Yeah.
medical license.
I wonder if at any point someone's like, "Hey, you know, you're gonna be working with people, right?"
Like I don't understand why they go through all of that work and that school and that just everything just to
Dick.
look at people and be like, Actually, I kind of hate you when that's like your whole job is to take care of people.
Crazy.
My earrings,
Same thing in like mental health. I think I told you this last night of like,
the therapist.
yeah, a friend of mine who's very close to becoming a therapist was telling me a story about one of her actual therapists essentially saying shit of the fact of like it's your fault for all the bad stuff that's happened to you in life that was out of your control. It's like you can't tell people that. That's not okay. I don't think it's illegal. It's just not like how do you go into a field where you're just gonna
You're actually supposed
victim
to
blame?
help victims overcome their trauma and be like, "You're the problem."
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I could go on and on and on about medical workers. And like, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for people in the medical field considering everything that we went through with the pandemic. Like 90% of us got to sit home and get free money and do nothing and go for walks. And then there's,
People out there working, 20-hour days.
yeah, like having to wear full body suits and 3 different masks and safety goggles. And like to the point where you would see doctors in videos take off their masks and they have like indents in their nose from their safety goggles and their masks that are like taking care of people that are on ventilators. Like I have a lot of respect for that. Don't get me wrong. But Jax,
Stop it.
sorry, he's licking. My biggest pet peeve is when dogs lick themselves. It really grosses me out beyond means.
Your dogs are super lickers. What do you
I know. That's why I'm saying it grosses me out because I yell at my dogs all the time that they do
Yeah.
that. Um,
Anyway,
anyways, it just I don't get it. Why choose a profession where you're literally going to take care of people and when they're at their most vulnerable state of not feeling well, whether it's mentally or physically or emotionally, and just victim blame and tell them you can't have this or make them feel more uncomfortable than they already are, exposing themselves to somebody who is trained to do these things and see these things and then respond like negatively. Like,
Mm.
why would you go into that profession?
yeah.
Just makes me mad.
All respect for people that actually, are in the field and actually make an effort and trying to make people feel comfortable when they're at their most vulnerable.
We need them Grey's Anatomy doctors up in here.
Is that a good show? I was thinking about watching it.
um,
That's like every girl's like wet dream show.
it is. I love Grey's Anatomy.
Hey, you watch Grey's Anatomy? That's the reaction I
I think
expect
if
to get.
people make it through all of the seasons of Grey's Anatomy, they should be handed a medical license.
How many seasons are we
I think
there?
there's like 16 at this point.
I thought I was say 70.
Honestly, it feels like there's 70.
I did like short episodes, like 20-ish minutes, probably.
Pretty long. I think they're pretty long. I haven't seen it in a while. My sister honestly kind of ruined one of the episodes for me. Spoiler alert, when Derek Shepherd died.
I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't made an emotional connection to Derek Shepherd yet, though, so.
Like I sped run through House MD. I'm like, that was a good show, but
You would
the
probably like
others,
Grey's Anatomy.
like, I
It's
would
you will need some tissues if you watch it.
You gonna watch The Bear yet?
I restarted Vampire Diaries.
Why? Why? Of all shows?
This girl I know has been posting about the Vampire Diaries and how
It's like me going, oh yeah, instead of watching anything new, I started rewatching Desperate Housewives.
Do you watch Desperate
I
Housewives?
used to as a kid. Every Sunday, I think it was like,
On NBC at 9?
well, at first it was like me and my mom would watch Smallville of like it's probably like the first show where it was like Superman grown up type show. And it was like right after that was like a new episode of like Desperate Housewives. So I think it was like my way of trying to stay up longer at night just to watch Desperate Housewives.
You want to hear a fun fact about Christian as a child?
Is it about my big ass head?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a really big head. How old were you when you learned how to walk?
I have no idea.
He was like
Oh.
well into toddler age, I'm pretty sure. His mom told me that he had a hard time learning how to walk and she was worried because he was getting older and he still wasn't walking, and the
Yeah.
doctor told her It's because his head's too big. He topples over, and he actually still kind of walks and leans.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just like stand in place and I'll just like lose my balance for no reason. Yeah, we're protecting.
Oh, it's so funny.
But yeah, big ass head,
All right, well, it is almost
big ass ass.
9 o'clock.
Nice. Jackson, any thoughts? All right. How do we exit this podcast?
Well, you didn't even introduce the name of it, I don't think.
Yeah. Should we go with the name I proposed?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna name it the Irrelevant Podcast because it's not like we have any actual subject we talk about like some podcasts, rather than just talk about whatever with whoever, and nothing we say is important. So the Irrelevant Podcast.
Basically.